Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode. We're working on Unit 2, Lessons 1 and 2. Our topic of the day is Let's Go Shopping. How do you feel about that? I guess most girls would be very excited about going shopping. What about the boys? What are you interested to shop for? Let's get started and see what we're going to cover. As for our learning objectives, we're going to be reading an online support message, an advert for handicrafts, and an online review. As for writing, we're going to be writing emails asking for and giving information about handicrafts, and that is also through an online review. As for listening, we're going to be listening to a radio advert, a conversation in a shop, a phone call making a complaint. As for our speaking skills, we're going to be talking about things at home, we're going to be buying something in a shop, and we're going to be asking about shopping habits, along with describing a problem with technology and making a complaint as well. As for language, we will be learning to use both blank and blank, either or, neither nor, and none. As for life skills, we will be focusing on self-management and keeping calm. As for our critical thinking skills, we will be evaluating the pros and cons of online shopping, or in other words, the advantages and disadvantages of online shopping. Now, I'd like you to look at the photos in this page, and I want you to tell me, can you match the items in the photos to their names? So let's read first the items in the word box. The first one is coffee machine. The second one is kettle. The third one is laptop. And the fourth one is television. So now, let's see if you can match the pictures. We have 4 pictures here. Picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, and picture 4. Let's check together. Of course, picture 2 is the coffee machine. Picture 2 is the coffee machine. Picture 1 is the kettle. Picture 1 is the kettle. You can see the water is boiling inside the kettle. As for picture 4, that is the laptop picture. The laptop pictures that are on sale, along with the 4th picture, which is the television. It looks like a smart television. Now, we're going to move on to exercise 2. Which advert is from a magazine, a poster, a website, and an email? So, I want you to try and guess from the layout of each one, where did we get it from? Where did we get this advert from? Of course, the answers are: the kettle is from a poster. The kettle is from a poster that is probably posted somewhere in the streets, whereas the magazine has an advert for a laptop. So if we look at the laptop section, we will find that there are pages on the side here which reveals that this is probably a magazine. As for the next part, which is the coffee machine, we found it at a website because we have the search bar along with different categories, which is usually found in online shopping, where you can choose the category that you want to shop for. And last but not least, the television ad is at an email ad, which shows the email inbox icon, which says new message and deal of the day. Now we're going to move on to work in a group. So I need you to find a partner or 2 partners at home in order to discuss the following questions. Which items in the previous page do you have in your house? Now I want you to look at the items in the other page, which includes the coffee machine, along with the kettle, along with the television, and along with the laptop. Which of these items do you think is the nicest to look at? If I were to answer the first question, I would feel really excited looking at the coffee machine because I enjoy coffee anytime during the day. What about you? What do you like looking at? Which is the nicest to look at? Let's move on to the second question. Which of those items in the previous page are the most useful? So from your perspective, is it the laptop or the television or the coffee machine or the kettle? Some people may suggest the coffee machine, some people may suggest the kettle. You must have a good reason for your choice. Now, from your point of view, which item is the most expensive? Which item do we pay the most amount of money to buy? Is it the TV or is it the laptop? What do you think? As for the last question, which of the items in the previous page is the least expensive? Do you think it's the kettle or do you think it's the coffee machine? Not sure, but you can always research to find out. Now we will move on to exercise 3. Tell your partner within your group about the last thing you bought. So think of something that you went to the store to buy or even bought online, and tell your partner what it was and was it on special offer or not. So was it at a discounted price than the normal price or not? Once you're done with that, we're going to jump to exercise 4. Do you normally buy things that are at the usual price, or do you wait for deals or discounts? Some people enjoy waiting for certain deals at specific months during the year so that they can go and get more items for less money. Which kind of person are you? Are you the kind that waits for the sale or the discount, or are you the kind of person who shops whenever they need something? Now we're going to move to our language section. Let's look at the grammar box. Of course, we're going to be discussing adjectives using ER, R, or IER. So this is comparative adjectives. Now, when do we use adjectives with ER, R, or IER? We use them with short adjectives. So words such as cheaper, nicer, easier. And sometimes we use more or less with adjectives that are longer, such as useful. We can say more useful or less useful. Or we can even say more beautiful or less beautiful. So we use ER, R, or IER with the adjectives that are short in the number of letters, whereas we use more or less with longer adjectives, adjectives that have more number of letters. So we use the plus adjective plus EST, ST or IEST with short adjectives. So the example is the cheapest, the nicest, the easiest. So when do we use EST or ST or IEST? When we are comparing one thing to everything else. If I'm comparing an item at the store and I'm looking for the one with the least price or the cheapest, then I will say, this t-shirt is the cheapest in this shop. Or this dress is the nicest in this store. Why do I say cheapest or nicest? Because I'm comparing it to everything else in the store. So I believe that it is the cheapest, the most cheap out of all the other products, or even the nicest. Now, if I'm going to be online shopping, I believe that this is the easiest way to shop. What do you think? Is it easy compared to going to the mall or maybe by ordering at the supermarket by phone? Which is the easiest way to shop? So we use the plus most or least plus the adjective. So we can say this is the most expensive or this is the least expensive for longer adjectives when we compare more than two things. So when do we use the most or the least expensive? For example, when we compare more than two things, multiple things. Now be careful, some adjectives are irregular, so they do not follow the rules at the top. They have their own rule, such as good, better, best, bad, worse, worst. If I want to say that something is a lot good than something else, I have to use better. So if I'm comparing two things, I use better. But if I'm comparing more than two things, I use best. And the same goes for worse and worst. We use worse when we compare two things, and we use worst when we compare more than two things. Now we're going to complete the sentences with the correct form of the adjective in brackets. Those are the adjectives in brackets. We're going to use them correctly within the sentence. Pay attention to the grammar box as you apply what we have learned. Number 1 is already done for us. Let's read it together. Televisions are more expensive than kettles. Why did I use more expensive? Because I'm comparing the televisions to the kettles, which is two things being compared. Now let's move on to useful. Blank thing in my kitchen is the fridge. Here I'm comparing the fridge to everything else in my kitchen. Therefore, I will use most useful. The most useful thing in my kitchen is the fridge. Why did I not use more useful? Because I'm not comparing two things, I'm comparing many things, more than two. Let's go to number 3. Kettles are expensive than computers. So here I will ask myself, what am I comparing? I'm comparing kettles to computers. So those are two different items. Therefore, I will use less expensive. Kettles are less expensive than computers. Why did I use less and not more? Because kettles are in fact less expensive than the computers. We pay less money to buy a kettle than we do to buy a computer. Let's go on to number 4. It is blank to shop online now than before. So here I'm comparing online shopping today to online shopping before. So I'm comparing two things and we need to use the adjective easy. So I will say it is easier to shop online now than before. Let's move on to question 5. It is good to buy clothes in shops than online. Here I'm comparing buying in shops to buying online. So what is another word other than good? If I'm comparing between two things, I will use better. Let's check. Of course, the answer is better. It is better to buy clothes in shops than online. Let's move on to question 6. Busy shop in my town is the supermarket. So here I'm comparing one shop to all the other shops in my town, okay? And that one shop is actually the supermarket. So I'm comparing the supermarket to all other shops. Here, what am I going to use? We're using the word busy, so we can add busiest, I-E-S-T. So the Y turns into an I, and then we add EST to show that the supermarket is the most busy one, or in other words, the busiest. Good job, guys. We're done with the language section. Let's move on. Now we're going to our listening section. Listen to the radio advert. Tick what it is advertising. So we have 3 images here. I will not display or disclose what they are yet until you listen to the audio. Listen to the radio advert. Tick what it is advertising. Do you love music? Do you want the latest technology? We have the best headphones now at Audio World. We're selling them in red, which is our most popular color, and also in black and white. This week, you can buy them at the special price of only 1,500 Egyptian pounds. Visit our shop today. Now, what product is being sold here? Is it a music player or speakers or headphones? Of course, the answer is these are headphones. This is a radio advert for headphones. Now, you can listen one more time in order to complete the information below here. So let's look at number 1. The most popular color they have for the headphones is actually which color? It is the red color. So the red color is the most popular one. This means that many people order, specifically the red color. People enjoy having red headphones. Let's go on to question 2. What are other colors that are available with the headphones? Of course, the answer is black and white. So you can get headphones that are black and white as well. Now, what is the special price of the headphones? Of course, it is 1,500 Egyptian pounds. Now we have concluded lesson 1, unit 2. We're going to move on to lesson 2.